Okay, so question D, which says analyze the implications of signaling theory on demand for education. Okay, so the signaling theory basically it's saying education acts as a signal to employers. All right, it shows that when you're educated, you're of use. Okay, your use to the company is going to be very vital. Okay, so this signaling theory, in terms of demand for education, once someone has got their papers and their qualifications, that acts as a signal to an employer to know that okay, this is the right person I need for my company. Okay, remember, a signal is something that shows another person your ability or your quality. All right, so when you have a degree, okay, you are signaling that yes, you are competent for your job. When you have a master's, okay, it's a greater signal than a degree. Okay, it shows you're also qualified for a certain role position. Okay, when you have your after this master's, your PhD. Okay, although I don't think jobs hire a lot of jobs hire people with PhDs, but yes, all right. So basically, a signal is something that shows another person your ability or quiet, okay, or quality. So basically, in the labor markets, certificates, diplomas, degrees, and professional qualifications can signal that a person is disciplined, intelligent, hardworking, trainable, and able to complete tasks. Okay. So this is what is expected of someone who says, okay, I've got a degree, I've got a master's, PhD, all right? That the person is a disciplined person, which is not always the case. Show the person is intelligent, okay, hardworking, they're able to be trained, and they're able to complete tasks. Okay. Yes. So, for example, when a bank advertises for a graduate trainee, it may use a degree as a sign that the applicant can learn quickly, follow rules, and handle complex work. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to look at some of the implications of the signaling theory on the demand for education. Okay. So, number one, education increases chances of employment. Okay. So, basically, the signaling theory increases the demand for education because people believe that higher qualifications improve their chances of getting a job. All right. And yes, this is very true. Okay. That's why people are doing their masters, getting PhDs. Okay. Because you know that, okay, the more qualifications I have, the greater the good signal that I'm sending to employers, and I have a high chance of getting a job. Okay. Yes. In the banking sector, many applicants may study accounting, finance, economics, banking, or business administration because they know banks often prefer educated workers. Okay. Another implication. Okay. Education becomes a screening tool. Okay. So here, basically, when we say screening tool, when you are choosing applicants, you are going to see from their qualifications when you are shortlisting them. Okay. Employers receive many job applications. It's not easy to know which applicant is hardworking, honest, intelligent, or trainable. Education helps employers reduce this problem. Okay. Yes. If 500 people apply for 20 banking jobs, the bank may first shortlist those with degrees or diplomas. Okay. Yeah. So that's the screening that is happening there. Okay. It's- Therefore, we say, as a result, more people demand education because they know that without qualifications, they may not even be called for interviews. Option number three, it increases private demand for higher education. Okay. So because education signals ability, okay, individuals must invest more in schooling. Okay. So this is how the signaling theory is increasing demand for education. Because since people know that, okay, when I get my education and the qualifications that I have, I'm going to be, it's going to show certain abilities that I'm going to have. So people now invest in going to school. Okay. That's why even like you are doing distance learning. Okay. Because you know that you have to invest in your school because the higher your qualification, the, you're going to get better positions and you'll be needed by companies. Okay. Yes. Okay. Number four, credential inflation. Remember, here we're talking about how the signal in theory, the implications of the signal in theory on the demand for education. Okay. Yes. So credential inflation happens when jobs that were once needed lower qualifications start requiring higher ones. For example, a grade 12 may become a diploma requirement, and a diploma may become a degree requirement. So, for example, certain jobs that needed only a grade 12 certificate, they now change. They say that now you need a diploma. Okay. Then also certain jobs where they said you need a diploma to get this job, it now changes. You need thing. You need a degree. Okay. So this credential inflation increases demand for education. Why? Because people now need to study more. Okay. So if you know that, okay, this job which was requiring diplomas, they now need degrees. So those people with diplomas will need to go and get degrees. So demand for education is going up. Okay. Or because we said education signals your abilities and your qualities to your employer. Okay. So since it's education signals your abilities and qualities to your employer, demand for education usually rises. This is what we're talking about here. The implications of signaling theory on the demand for education. Demand for education rises because people know that the higher my qualifications, the better chances of me getting a nice job, nice pay. Okay. Yes. So I can pause there for the implications. There are many other implications, but these are for you to read. Okay. So any questions? Yes, that's this.